Hey there, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Throwing Down with the Browns. Today we're going to be cooking pork spare ribs. We're going to be putting them on the smoker. We're going to smoke them up, and they're going to be tender, juicy, falling off the bone, full of flavor. So, guys, follow along. I would love to welcome you in to our channel, and we'll just make everything happen as it should. All right, so we're back. As you see, I have my little offset smoker here. Now, it's only big enough to hold 2 racks of ribs. I got a little guy, but it doesn't decrease on the amount of flavor. Now, we have my Kingsford charcoal, and we have applewood. I would normally like to smoke with oak. However, I got there too late, and all they had was my favorite thing to go with, which is applewood, but I do prefer oak. So we're going to have the Kingsford charcoal. We're going to have the applewood chunks. And my little spray bottle over there, I just got something simple. It's just apple juice. That's all it's going to take. One of the things you guys might know about using Kingsford charcoal is the fact that they have that little strip on top of the bag. So I always tell myself, if I can get that strip off the top of the bag without any resistance or tearance in that strip, I always say a little saying I like to say. A lot of you guys might remember from an old commercial, a Corona got its line. So it's a sign of a good barbecue. Alright guys, now we got that charcoal starting to get hot. It's doing its thing. It's getting all those briquettes down in there fire red, which is what we really want to see. So we can put them in the firebox and then add the wood, which is going to do the smoking for us. So while that thing is finishing up and doing its thing, we're going to go in the kitchen and we're going to get these ribs trimmed up and seasoned, and we're going to get them ready to put onto the grill. Alright. Alright guys, so the first step I like to do when I'm cooking ribs is I like to take the membrane off the back of them. This is probably one of the most important steps as far as having tender ribs. If you ever had ribs that never had the membrane pulled off, you would notice it. It's going to result in a very chewy, non-satisfactory product that you're not going to be proud of, especially if you're doing it yourself. So what I like to do, I like to take a fork, take one end of the fork and get it in right next to the bone. And once you get it in there, you can see it kind of just pulls up. You can do it again until you get all the way up the bone. And then you can just take a paper towel, usually, or a dish towel or what have you. And you can grab a hold of that. The skin is going to be a little bit slippery. So you're going to take that paper towel, which will give you extra grip to get all of that membrane off of there. And you see how it just pulls, it pulls right off. Not very hard to do at all. You know, but it's essential when you're trying to make the tenderest ribs that you can possibly make. You know, so again, that one piece didn't come off smooth, but you just grab the other half and you do the same thing. Now you have this, you may have this fat. Depending on the quality of your ribs, you're going to have a certain amount of fat. So you can take a knife, the sharpest knife you have, and you can just kind of pick at that and get that all away from the bone. As far as as well around anything else that might be on your ribs, you can turn them over. Oh wow! And you can see this edge right there. You might want to trim off. You can trim off some of that down in there. You can get a little bit off. I'm just going basically for that membrane on the back. Now I'm going to trim off some of this as well. I'll get some of that. Anything on the back of the ribs, I tend to take care of more seriously than on top of the ribs, because a lot of that's going to render off in the cooking process. So that is an important step to get a tender, juicy rib. Alright guys, so here we are back in the kitchen. Now I'm about to show you how I trimmed up the ribs. I took off the necessary fat off that I wanted. It may be a little bit more for you or for the next person. It depends on your taste. That's completely up to you. However, I have my mustard that I love to coat my ribs in. I coat both sides with the mustard. It helps the seasoning stick. And that's something you really need when you're making a great barbecue. You want your seasoning to stick, not just fall down into the fire. So what I chose to use, I used 2 tablespoons of smoked paprika, 2 tablespoons of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of black pepper. I used a tablespoon and a half of pink Himalayan kosher salt. I use about let's make that 2 teaspoons of cumin, ground cumin that is. And I think that may be about it. So I mixed all that together in the bowl that you see right there on the counter. And I'm going to coat the ribs generously in mustard, and then I'm going to sprinkle the seasoning. Don't be shy with the seasoning. The seasoning is everything. The smoke is going to complement the seasoning. So we're going to season these ribs up, and then we have the smoker going. It's at a comfortable temperature of 250. That is what we want throughout the entire cook. So hopefully you have on your smoker a temperature gauge, so you can follow along with adding or subtracting, venting, or what need you be to keep that constant temperature at 250 degrees throughout the entire cook. Now on this cook, we're going to be using the fail-proof 3-2-1 method, which is basically 3 hours on the grill, uncovered, and then we're going to wrap them up in foil. We're going to add some special ingredients inside that foil, and then we're going to cook them for another 2 hours in that foil to kind of steam the ribs, get them nice, loose, and kind of fall off the bone. You know, that's what you want in a great smoke. And then for the final hour, we're going to take them out of the foil, and then we're going to just let them cook, you know, just to get that crispiness to the skin. It's going to be tender. It's going to have great texture on the outside, and it's going to be fall apart off the bone on the inside. So I'm going to season these ribs. I'm going to get them on the smoker, and we'll come back. All right, so here we go, folks. And now we have the pleasure of having my beautiful, wonderful wife as part of the video. So you see,
hello.
Hey there. Hi. All right, so we have our ribs. I went with the mustard on top. We're just gonna massage that in. Just rub it all around. You want to get a good coating, like I said, so all the seasoning sticks. Mustard is a great binder. You all may have something else that you may choose, but overall, mustard really can't be beat. You know, it's a beautiful thing. It doesn't leave a heavy aftertaste. It just makes sure all the seasoning sticks, and you have a beautiful outcome. You just really can't go wrong with it. So you want to massage that in there. You know, as I have done. Flip it over. You can do both sides.
It's like the Flintstone meat.
Brontosaurus bones, right?
Wow.
Yeah, that was good stuff, right?
Yes.
I remember he used to turn the whole car over.
And speaking of massages, since you are so good at this, I am looking forward to my massage later.
Well, okay. Well, we're going to have to get to that, huh?
Yeah.
I better get this meat on the grill,
yes,
so we can focus on other things.
Yes. You
All
can
right.
massage my shoulders from standing here. I have to be on a stool, everyone. I'm not as tall as my handsome husband, so I'm on a stool so I can look into the camera.
All right. So, now that we have everything looking good, we're well coated, I'm going to rinse my hands off so I can get the seasoning, because I don't want the seasoning to stick to my hand.
Right.
So, I got to get in the sink, rinse it off. We can come back, get that seasoning on there, and then everything is just pretty much to the grill, and let the grill do its work.
Okay. And you said 3 hours?
3 hours is the first part.
Holy smokes.
It's a 6-hour process. It's 3 hours on the grill, unwrapped, and then we're going to wrap them in foil. We're going to put some special ingredients inside that foil, and you'll see why. It's going to pay off, trust me. And then
All right.
we're going to take it out of that foil and put it on the grill 1 more hour. Consistent temperature of 250 degrees, because this is fail-proof. This method is tried and true. If you're a fan of Texas barbecue, they like nothing but oak wood.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
I like apple wood. I'm a northerner. I don't know, maybe it's something different about me, but I just like apple wood. That's just my preference.
Now, I'm just going to say we never had that growing up. I mean, all we had was just the charcoal. My dad didn't do any smoking. He didn't do any of that. You know, he just, hey, let's season it with vinegar somehow. He And then, he would put a little salt and pepper or Lori's. You remember Lori's?
I remember Lori. Lori's is still around to this day, and it's always been an excellent choice.
Yes.
For just a classical cookout.
All right.
There's nothing wrong with Lori's, but throughout the years we have evolved. Barbecue has evolved.
Yes.
And they have a lot more involved seasonings that you can use nowadays.
Yeah.
So
we had a kitchen full of them. I see them over there. See, I'm more of just a salt, little garlic salt. I'm pretty different. You're a little more into the salt than I am, and definitely into pepper. I can't have pepper. I'm a little allergic. But
yeah, I like flavor.
Yes.
I'm guilty as charged, y'all.
Lots of it, y'all.
What can I say? All right, so we got that first. And like I said, be generous with the seasoning. Unless you're someone like my beautiful wife here, who really doesn't thrive on saltiness and flavorfulness. However,
but this cooks off, right? I mean, Jeff's the chef. Let's be honest. I'm not a chef, but does it kind of cook down? Or you mentioned something about sugar.
Chef, I'm a celebrated cook. I worked in the industry for 24 years.
That's a chef,
so
Jeff.
I kind of know my way around the kitchen. I would like to say I'm a master, but I'm not. I'm a student. I'm always trying to learn. But however, the things that I have learned, I'm very willing to share with you all.
Yes.
And I would love if you would join in on the celebration that I have, and maybe take some of these recipes and make them your own. So
yeah.
Now that I have, oh boy.
Oh, we lost some of our what is that?
Parchment
wax?
paper.
Yeah, parchment.
And I'm just covering up the one slab because I don't want the seasoning to come off of the first slab of ribs. I just want to coat it, put some of this paper on the top.
Okay.
So it doesn't take away from the next slab that I'm about to put on top of it and season it as well.
Ah, right.
We can do that, and I'm going to season the second slab just like I did this one. And once we get those done, it will come right back to you guys when they're about to go on the grill. Like I said, it's going to be a 6-hour process for it, so we're in it for the long haul.
Oh boy,
But
I'm going to need
have
it.
great expectations.
Yes.
And it is going to be a beautiful thing. So join us as we continue.
I'm going to say I might need a little appetizer as I wait, because I like the idea of the ribs, but I didn't realize it was that long a process, so I might have to have a little burger or something. But, we're all ready. All right, stand by as we return shortly.
Of butter, salted butter, I cut it into eight pieces, and I use 4 pieces per rib. So I use the 8 pieces of butter, cut them into 8 pieces, 4 pieces per rib, and I used probably about a cup of brown sugar per rib, and I just put that into a piece of foil with the butter, and then I use maybe about a cup of honey per rib as well. You will put the ribs into the foil with the meat side down, so upside down, and you will wrap them. If you need extra foil to completely cover, you should do that. This is what you want. They're going back onto the grill, smoker. All right, and for the final step, we are back. Ribs out of the foil, the butter, brown sugar thing has done its job. The ribs got a little bit of dark on one side. I was keeping them too close to the fire during the first 3 hours of the smoke. However, the ribs are very tender. They're just about falling apart. So we're going to leave them on 1 more hour. We're going to spritz with apple juice, as we have been doing throughout the entire cook. And the end result is going to be something special.